Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nastapesho Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, wir reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Hare Krishna. Continuing in the 4th canto, chapter 14, verse 38. Am I right? Yes. Perfect. So. Alles gut Englisch, ja? Okay. So. Evam Rishanta Rishayo. Evam Rishanta Rishayo. Davatam Sarvato Disham. Davatam Sarvato Disham. Pangshu Sumu Tito Buddhis. Pamshu Sumu Samu Tito Buddhis. Choranam Abilumpatam. Choranam Abilumpatam. Evam Rishyanta Rishayo. Davatam Sarvato Disham. Pangshu Sumo Tito Bhuris. Choranam Abilupatam. Also nochmal, bevor wir alle chanten, before we all chant, the word by word translation, so we understand the Sanskrit better. Evam, thus, Mrishanta, while considering. Rishaya, the saints, yes, the great saintly persons. Dhavatam, running. I also would have not known. Sarvataha Disham, from all directions. So Sarva means everywhere, all, and then Disham apparently directions. Pangshu, dust. Samutitaha, arose. Buri, much. Choranam, makan chor, what means chor? Stealing, yeah. Stealing. Makan means butter. Chor means thief, stealing. So, from thieves and rogues. So, Abilupatam, engaging in plundering. Lumpata, interesting, huh? Lumpata. Eine nanantas kinkaram. Wie geht der letzte Vers von Shikshastakam? Ainanda tanun chakinkaram patitamem vishame vavam buddho kripaya stavapankaya stita duli sadisham vinchintaya. Also Lampato wird auf jeden Fall. Lampato. Krishna is being described as Lampato, as he who deceives also his girlfriends. He's basically cheating on them. He's a very hard-hearted person, but actually he's the most soft-hearted. But sometimes we feel like he might cheat us. So it's Lampato. So there's Lumpatam. It's similar. It's plundering. So it's just plunderers. So the plunderers. So interesting. Yeah, but Krishna is Radharani sees Krishna as he who just stole her heart and just ran away with it. No. I don't want to sing a song now. Last Christmas you gave it away, and the very next day you gave it away. But always a sentence, the very next day you gave it away. So that's kind of like how Krishna is, you know, he's stealing your heart, and the very next day he just ran away. I mean, for Sankirtan devotees to understand how important this song is, because all our my 7 years on the street, every year for 4 weeks, every day, 6 hours, 9 hours every day, I would hear it. So whenever I hear this song, it reminds me of marathon. I don't know. Spiritual emotions awaken. Hare Krishna. So here it's used in a different context, and we're gonna hear soon. So evam mrishanta rishayo. Maybe I even read the translation, then we can chant the Sanskrit even better. When the great sages were carrying on their discussions in this way, they saw a dust storm arising from all directions. So, evam rishanta rishayo, but they were thinking like this. The great sages were discussing, and then this way a dust storm arose from all directions. This storm was caused by the running of thieves and rogues who were engaged in plundering the citizens. Well, Davatam sarvato disham, that was from all directions, sarvato disham. Pamshu sumutito bhuris, there was dust from all directions. And then from whom? From chodanam, from the thieves, and abilumpatam, and rogues, and engaged in plundering. So now you can chant the verse. Evam rishanta rishayo darvatam sarvato disham pamshu sumito bhuris chodanam abilumpatam evam rishanta rishayo Darvatam sarvato disham Pamsu sumito buddhis Chodanam abilumpatam. Mataji's ladies. Evam rishanta rishayo Darvatam sarvato disham Pangsu sumitito bhuris Chodanam abilumpatam Evam rishanta rishayo Darvatam sarvato disham Pamsu samutito bhuris Chodanam abilumpatam. So now we see all the thieves running. It's a very poetic verse actually. How everybody's running, while they were discussing all the rogues, you can imagine a storm arising, dust clouds arising. They're running, now we can plunder everything. So it's interesting because the terrible King Vena, he was so terrible, he was so bad that even the thieves were afraid of him. Which was in the end a good thing, you have a heavy dictator. On one side, it is actually protecting the citizens from theft and people who are disguising them. But on the other side, of course, they're killing almost everybody, not only the victim. They're killing the victim as well as the offender. Not only the offender, but the victim also. So that's how terrible Vena was. But everybody was scared, so there was some order. And but then he died, and then everything fell apart. Let's see what Prabhupada says. Purport. By His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thieves and rogues simply evade some political upset in order to take the opportunity to plunder the people in general, to keep thieves and rogues inactive in their profession. A strong government is always required. Homa Yajna Timirandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Shakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swaparantikam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanjana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sote Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatur Vashakri Pasinju Bevascha Patitanam Bhavani Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishta Bhutta Shrimati Kanavakana Samti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishta Bhutta Guru Dasha Treta Samti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishta Bhutta Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami. Yeah, so it's amazing, huh? That's what we're seeing nowadays in our government. They're being so liberal, so open, that the thieves and plunderers, they see this opportunity. Now it's the time to run and take as much as we can. And then we see the government and the citizens being plundered. And that's the, I would now compare this with extreme liberalism. You have liberalism on one side, and you have conservatism on the other side, being extreme conservative and being extreme liberal. So we have those two extremes in society, in politics. We also have it in the temples. We have it in ISKCON as a society, and even we have it in ourselves, this dilemma of being liberal or being conservative. So now let's explore what does it mean to be liberal or conservative. So in the very, let's go to the political, because it's something neutral we can understand. It's in politics, a conservative party or conservative government is somebody who does it the old way and likes to stick with things which are already running. Conservative means not changing, just doing things, and even more nationalistic. So we stay with our own selves, we are good, and others, foreigners, might not be good, or we don't like them at all. Extreme cases, Nazi, no? So that, but Nazis were actually not only nationalistic, they were national socialists, which means they are nationalists, but still socialists on the other extreme. Because a communism is socialism, but socialism facilitates a dictator. That's what you had then with National Socialism. Anyway, a sidetrack. But being conservative means that you go by the old rules, that you are very, you protect your home country, and then you feel more secure. You provide security for your citizens. You're more strict on the law. And then liberal is on the other extreme, where you have, okay, everybody's same, we are all human beings. Even if you come from Antarctica, or if you come from Thailand, everybody's same, we're all human beings, and everybody has the right to live everywhere. And you can do whatever you want, so you have open borders, you have, you allow many things, you allow the market to be very liberal, do whatever they want, you don't want to restrict them. So that's very liberal. But then the downsides of liberalism is that, I mean, the good thing is also for scientists. Science and scientists have the opportunity, and they are encouraged to research other fields, to research something unknown. So that's exciting. Something's happening, and then the intelligentsia thinks, okay, something's happening. Whereas in conservatism, the science or wisdom is more kept as a tradition. Maybe we just go deeper in those fields, but we don't explore new things. The incentive is not so much there. So then we have these two extremes balancing nowadays in our world. We can see, for example, in El Salvador, which is a very small country between South America and North America, like, you know, there's Panama, the Panama Canal, everybody knows, and then there's a small country, El Salvador. And it had the highest murder rate, the highest homicide, I think, like, it was 6,000 a year, huge for a small country. It's like, I don't know, 6 million inhabitants, and then still like was so many murders happening, so you could not go by dark. And then a heavy conservative president came, which was very strict, and he was very strict on those thieves and rogues. Had a hard hand, like here it said, a strict government, and it now is reduced to the country with the lowest homicide rates worldwide. But they said the prisons are overflowing. Basically, if anybody's doing something wrong, like, boom, into prison, you know. But it is good for the citizens in the end, you know. Of course, you must be careful, and then there's abuse, of course, happening. You know, the neighbor doesn't like the other neighbor, say, like, hey, he did this and this, and then it's like he's being incarcerated. But the effect is there that if you're strictly trying to follow something, then you can have protection. And then we have extreme liberalism, which we have here in the West, also in Germany, which we see in, there was a heavy, I don't know, the Buddhists are so aloof from everything, so they didn't get to know, probably, but there was a big thing happening, incident happening in the Weihnachtschristkindlmarkt. In Weihnachtsmarkt, somebody was driving with a car into it and killed now 6 people, and I don't know, 100 or 90 people injured. So if you look at the video, it's pretty heavy. But the crazy thing about the government is this guy was before already told by the Saudi Arabian government that he is a dangerous guy. He's kind of terroristic inclinations. So Germany, take care of it, you know? We're just warning you. But Germany so liberal said, okay, we don't want to deport him back. We know this, but we don't want to deport him back to his country, even though he's a criminal, we know it, and also he had some court cases in Germany. But we protect him, because if we deport him back to Saudi Arabia, there's a death sentence, so he might be killed. So we want to protect him. But then on what cost? You know, of course, you have the German citizens being the cost of this decision. Which is just a small one, but there are many such decisions of immigrants coming and then doing offenses, but you don't want to send them back because you think, oh, they're being treated bad in their country, so we just let them run around in our own country, even instead of imprisoning them in your own country, because it's just a cultural difference. They don't understand how to act in your society. I mean, it's very tolerant. In some ways, it's extreme liberalism is kind of almost going very, very extreme into anarchy, you know, people do whatever they want. But it is more for brahmanas. If you have an ideal intellect, and then people have actually a good sense, of course they would understand, okay, the government wants to protect me, I want to be a good citizen, I want to act nice, it's very good of them, but then people don't get it. So because we are humans and we abuse it, then we just do every nonsense we want. So that is the extreme liberal side. And then we have the extreme conservative side. So we have both things which we can see nowadays, and actually in the whole society in the Western Hemisphere, we're moving from extreme liberalism to being more conservative, because people see that it's not working in the elections in US and UK and Canada. So even all these great politicians, they're stepping down, and because the whole people, they're realizing what are they doing with their own country. We want to protect our own country, which is very interesting. But the thing is, we can understand the two differences. And now we have the same thing in ISKCON. Now it gets very political. Because what would you consider extreme, being extreme conservative in ISKCON? Yeah. Oh, mic, okay, use the mic.
Hare Krishna. Men and women should not talk to each other.
Should not look at each other even, yeah.
Even look, yeah, whatever. Yes.
Should not exist. Okay, but yeah, sorry. But yeah, should not talk, very strict, that's conservative. Yes, another point? I'll just repeat it a bit faster. Yeah, that's one example. Okay, another example from being conservative. But that's a monastery. They try just to be brahmacharis in one. That's okay. So another example of being extreme conservative, and not extreme, but just being conservative in ISKCON. What would you think? What would, yeah, Shamakona? Yeah, brahmanas cannot work. Yeah. Something else? Vedasara, just say. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, traditional, yeah. More points? Yeah. Yeah. Shishi Plana Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. No instrument, being also just singing certain tunes at certain times, having the morning melody, and not singing some crazy kirtans, you know, some Jai Radha, Jai Krishna, Hare Krishna Balaram, Krishna Shyama Kunda, Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan, something, you know, whatever, yeah. More? Very good, he brought it to the point, yeah. But then we have, that's conservative, yeah. And then we'll see now liberal, and then we will see both extremes, and then we can try to see what's the middle point. So what would be liberal? Yeah? in the temple that they can just talk normally and be not so strict about it. Yeah. I think female, male, it's of course a big point, but yeah, you see in liberal temples, I would say in ISKCON that the intermingling is quite kind of not so strict. It's just like pretty free. You know, you just talk about something which is not necessarily service related. Yeah. No dress code, so just Krishna Vest. Yeah, that's what's happening. There's a Krishna Vest, they're very liberal. There's one guru, if you don't know him, Hridayananda Goswami. He's very learned. He actually commented on the 11th, 10th, and 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's very learned devotee. But he went to one very extreme, is thinking now that, we need to adapt to society, as we will be considered like aliens, outlandish, like running around in dresses which are very used 500 years ago. Why do we need to do this? It's completely unnecessary. So this is one example for being liberal. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Yes. That's something, yeah. His name, Bhakta Sai was his name, but his sannyas name, initiated name, Ananda Krishna. Bhakta Sai? Bhakta Sai, who was a Sai, and then from Hawaii, the guru. But he's in Australia, pretty active. Yeah, Hawaii. But also still very active, actually. Siddha Swarupananda, yeah, that's his name. So you can read up. And there were also some clashes between the Prabhupada disciples. They were telling him, oh, he's so liberal, we should be more conservative. And already at Prabhupada's time, they were pulling back and forth. Siddha Swarupananda. Other points of being very liberal, yeah. Yoga lounge, yeah. What's that, yoga lounge? Yeah, they have kind of like a cafe. They have like a restaurant, Govinda's restaurant, and above they have kind of like a yoga room, and they offer yoga classes, but also offer lectures on Sundays, and they have Sunday feasts with kirtan and prasadam and everything. So the people have like kind of like an intro towards Krishna consciousness. Björn? Bridge preaching in general, yeah. Bridge preaching is kind of like a very liberal part. Yes? They make yoga kirtan. The whole kirtan scene, actually whole kirtan melas is something new. No, we could say, of course, it's also very traditional because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just chanted, but the idea of kirtan melas and then inviting kirtaniyas just to sing Hare Krishna, it was not done in Prabhupada's time, so why should we do it now? So, yeah, we can go more examples back and forth, but it's very interesting to understand, okay, which directions the society is going, and then we can see which direction our temple is going, in which direction are we ourselves going? What is our own own understanding of our own selves, where we are going in our spiritual path?
One question. Was Prabhupada liberal or conservative?
This I don't know. He was both, I think. Yeah.
What is the difference between anarchy, that means no authority,
Uh-huh.
and liberalism? Is there some difference? I mean,
Anarchy is complete, no authority at all. There's completely, everybody does whatever they want. That was basically in Satya Yuga. Yeah, and Ananda Krishna made a very good point. Prabhupada, was he liberal or conservative?
yeah.
Before we said if we follow only Prabhupada, then we're conservative. But also Prabhupada was extremely liberal. He gave Brahman initiation to ladies. We have pujaris, would be ladies. So, I mean, he was both. And I think Prabhupada is the best example of being both at the same time. Yeah. So, but now we have in ISKCON, we have this both extremes still happening. Sometimes they're really pulling one another. And there are big fights. And as a Vaishnava, we can try to understand. And the more we understand, we can be also aloof, or we can just accept their different points of views. So, for example, with female gurus, this is very extreme pulling. No, they can. Yes, they can be. And because, yeah, the one being very liberal, yes, female can be. No, female cannot be. And then the different quoting Prabhupada at different directions. But the thing we understand is that for being conservative, it gives us the security that Yes, it gives us the security from thieves and rogues coming into our society. Meaning that nonsense people, spiritual rogues and thieves, like Mayavadism, comes into our society and we are kind of being exploited, or we just sidetrack from the main track what we are supposed to be doing. So therefore, conservatism is, being conservative is very important in itself. It's its own right. And then we have liberalism, which is gives you the opportunity to explore new things, like female gurus. We have Diksha gurus, Diksha for ladies, a second initiation for ladies. We have so many other things, yoga lounges, like you mentioned. So being liberal facilitates innovation and facilitates the opportunity to explore new preaching fields in a different way. And of course, being very extreme liberal would be like, yeah, you have no man, lady rules how they should behave in the temple, and you just can come into the temple. The pujari comes on with a suit and offers arati, suit and tie. I mean, that's extreme, yeah, but that would be one idea. And or we don't need any more deities, you know, they're old-fashioned. Now we just have the holy name. Chaitanya Prabhu gave us the holy name. We just need to trust and love. Okay, that's very extreme, but it already goes off the track of being the main sampradaya. So that's one side. And very extreme conservative can be, yeah, we just do like the Vedas have written, and we are not allowed to wear pullovers. We only dress in dhoti and chadars and no hats. And then we go on Sankirtan with a bullock cart. Actually, I thought it would be actually a cool thing, actually. To go on a bullock cart and load it full with books, we go on Sankirtan. Yeah, that would be very traditional. Or we distribute the books handwritten on palm leaves, like the Goswamis. So this would be the two extremes. But we as Vaishnavas, we can understand where is our temple. I think Simhachalam is kind of balancing it, but it's more conservative than liberal. Also because we are in the countryside. We don't have the opportunity. For example, if we have a preaching center in the city where you need to facilitate all kinds of external influence, if nobody wants, it's okay. Yeah, they're doing already. If somebody feels inspired for Giviks, please welcome. So if you're in the city, you're forced to be a little liberal. You need to be, for example, when you're preaching, you need to be liberal. You need to tell them when somebody is saying, is this about God? Or I don't like religion. Then say, no, it's not about religion, it's about pure love of Godhead, or whatever. Or say, no, that's about how to understand yourself. It's about self-realization and understanding the material world, and everything is the old ancient Indian science. That's what you tell people on the street when you're distributing a book, huh? Yeah, be honest. I also do. No, it's not about religion, not at all. It's not, it's about understanding the true self. So, yeah, we have this extreme. So being preaching, so I think it is important to understand being conservative or liberal is also dependent on the situation. Being here in our temple, Indians coming and being amongst ourselves, it's important to be conservative. Here we protect ourselves, we need to be secure, and we can here securely develop our Bhakti Lata beach, the creeper of devotion. If we are outside, we can be liberal preaching. But not if you are outside living out yourself as a grihasta and having no support. For example, you go back to your mom's flat and it's like, yeah, I'm liberal, I can be outside, need to be liberal. Then you do all kinds of liberal nonsense. But this should not be. When you're alone, then you should be conservative. Only if you need to reach out, then you can be liberal. For example, some say that ISKCON missed the wave of yoga or missed the wave of kirtan. I mean, it's crazy. Some 20 years ago, or 10 years ago even, kirtan was almost not known. Now every second household lady who's doing yoga has heard about kirtan, has heard maybe the Hare Krishna mantra, has gone to yoga and have somehow or other been in contact with Yoga Vidya, which is an ashram in Germany with around 2,000 people growing, and it's amazing what they have done in the yoga society. And what amazing what they have done in kirtan. Kirtan has become so popular. I mean, it's good that we have kirtanias like Mayapuris, Janavi, Harrison, or who is another, Gauravani. Madi, Rasika, yeah. So it's good that we have such people who are out there in the field, they're bringing so many people. And that's the thing about being liberal. You can get in contact with many people and lead them towards the stream of Krishna consciousness. And you need sometimes to be, accept things which are you yourself understand are not perfect, but and gradually you get into the standard. So and then your conservative side for your own self needs to be, for yourself, you need to check yourself, okay, am I with the standards what Prabhupada said? What is the guidelines? And then what is the principle? Sometimes, for example, this kirtans, it's not something that Prabhupada said we should do. But if, for example, Rasika or Gauravani or Janavi would go out on the streets and distribute books, they would not be so effective. We say, okay, everybody needs to distribute books and we're extreme conservative. That is not, I think, what Prabhupada would have wanted. So we need to understand Prabhupada's desire. What does he want? And if singing the names of God on a harmonium is becoming popular, we should ride on the wave and take the opportunity to give people Krishna consciousness, but in a very nice way. And then we see some kirtaniyas are doing it in a very, I must say, I haven't seen the kirtan performances of others, but I also see Janavi Harrison, and she's all the time always singing Hare Krishna. Not only different mantras, but she's also singing mainly devotional songs. Even all her recordings are some verses of the Bhagavatam, which she is then singing about it, or just translating it and then putting in a different view, which is very beautiful. It's artistic, but still conservative kind of. It's not completely her own song, but it's a verse. And then she's singing mainly the verse. It's very nice. And then we have, so we have this interesting balance of devotees doing different things. And as book distributors or preachers, we need to be a little liberal, and we can find new ways of how to distribute books, how to be out there and give Krishna to others. But still ourselves, we need to be conservative. And then when we are in the temple, we are conservative. And then if we want to reach out, then we have temples, which are mainly in the city, which can be liberal and can facilitate people who can come little by little towards Krishna consciousness. And that is something amazing. And that is what Kadambakanda Maharaj is saying. He has this little booklet, Diving Deep. I don't know if somebody of you have it here? If you have it here, you can show it to the others. It's actually very nice. It's about, there are different levels of Krishna consciousness. There's the institution, the rights, and the laws, I would say, even the needs of the institution. Then there's the temple, and then there's yourself. And you yourself need to understand what is the bhakti that you have. You need to go deep within yourself and see, okay, where can I streamline my bhakti? And then there will be so many influences of other persons. Some will be conservative, some will be like that. And we might hear them both, we might be confused. How do we deal with these two opposing ideas? And we understand that every devotee has found his own flow, I would say, his own bhakti, his own bhajan. And this bhajan is directed towards Krishna's lotus feet. And some are like peacocks, they're wild, they're dancing, they don't want to be within any norm, they don't want to be just standard devotees. They need to be like, Haribol! They need to be different. And there are some which are more conservative, which can be, which like to be within the norm and do everything strict and are paka and good. And both have their own right of existence because they're both wanting to serve and please Krishna in their own way. So if somebody wants to be Krishna West, he can do Krishna West temples. And then there are some devotees who want to have more traditional temples, and we build some stone temples and attract these kinds of people. And this is good to have both, else we will not attract everybody, And the liberal-sided devotees, they will attract the liberal populace of society, and the conservative people will attract the conservative. So if ISKCON has both sides, it is, I think it is enriching for everybody. It is enriching our society, and it enriches the growth. And for ourselves, it is if we can understand this liberal side with others, that okay, they might have some faults, they might do this, might do that, might not follow the same standard like I do, but with yourself you are conservative. You try to be, what Prabhupada wants, to be very strict and safe, to not sideline from the devotional path. I think that is something nice to meditate about and to understand where is your bhakti, where is your bhajan going. For example, some have found their services book distributors, which is very nice. I talk about book distribution because I like it. And we just had a marathon, so let's keep the flow. And if that's your thing, then you need to put your bhajan, your meditation into it. And that's very powerful. You will grow so immensely because for myself it was, okay, one service which I could focus on without not being mental about it, you know. Okay, I stand up, I chant my japa, and I know today I need to distribute books. And I'm looking forward to it. And it's exciting. For me, it was like, what kind of city? I looked on the map and I looked like, okay, where do we go now? Like, okay, let's go here. Oh, I've never been here. Who are these guys? And then distribute some books. We don't space out, but we go around and then like, that's nice. Let's meet new people. But okay, I had this focus and that was so purifying. So every day you have this focus, this sadhana, and you can go very deep into your service. And then it's nice because it was challenging. If me personally, had only the service to wash pots, would have been very difficult for me because I need some challenge, something. So this challenge was very nice. So everybody needs to find their own challenge. If it's, for some can be that they do every day very nice kitchen service or pot service and they go very deep into it. If you do it every day, it's a challenge every day. What are we going to cook today? Let's cut it very nice for the devotees, and maybe I can do the salad for the devotees or the drink, and then yeah, you can go really into it. Or you do the puja, pujari helper, you're just looking forward to have association with the Ramananda or the other brahmanas, and you ask them questions, and it can be so exciting every day. You know, you read something in the temple, you read some books, and then you come and do your service, and it's like, wow, that's so nice. Or you're a temple commander, and you want to you see what kind of services are happening. I mean, as a temple commander, you have lots of challenges. Okay, who's coming now? I hope I have everybody's service covered, and there's time for everybody to read, and they're happy, and then you see people develop, and you see, wow, I could help them facilitate so that they grow in their Krishna consciousness. There's so many nice things we can do in different services if we mainly focus in it and we go deep. So therefore, Kadama Kadamaraja's book, Diving Deep, that we don't just stay in the institutional level, we go to the personal level. We ourselves, if we develop our bhakti, we go very deep. It's not just what's needed in the temple and what the books do, we just go over it, but we go deep inside and see, okay, we do this service intense, we do this activity intense, and it can be so nice. And that is the power, I say, like, when people come to Krishna consciousness and they do the service and they develop to a certain point, but many don't go beyond this point of the threshold of complete surrender, where they do the service and they do it because it's painful, even though they go through it and they focus on it, and then you can see they can blossom. And I mean, therefore Sankirtan devotees are kind of, it's easy because you cannot run away. We know if you were on the streets or not. We see it on the numbers, you know. And the temple is more difficult to be so ecstatic or so focused on your pot washing because, yeah, there's this thing and that thing. So, but if you can really focus on the temple can be even be same or even more powerful, I would say, because you have the Brahminical atmosphere. You can read, you know, if you really utilize the time, you can read, you can study, you can ask the Brahmanas some questions, you can sit in the lecture, listen in the morning, listen in the evening. It's so powerful, it's very intense. You can have a really powerful time in the temple. So therefore, but if you break through this barrier of being completely concentrated into one, before you're like, as said in Bhagavad Gita, Ekeha Kurunandana, so those who are those whose intelligence is single-minded, single-focused, they can attain me. Before we're many-branched, every intelligence is here and there, and then it doesn't really work, you know, because we have so many plans to do things, so we cannot focus. But if you focus on one thing, we develop it, it can become something very beautiful. It can flourish, it can grow like a flower, but it's opening and it's becoming an offering towards Krishna. Hari Bol. Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. So let's chant the holy names and serve Srila Prabhupada, serve Nrsingadev in our best capacity. Are there any questions, comments, critics, corrections? Please. Shoot. Hendrik and then Prabhu.
Is staying conservative protecting from a decay of the message?
Yeah, it can always, I mean, if you're balanced like Prabhupada, my cushion is always lighting here. if you're like Prabhupada, it needs to be, you need to have a spiritual or a fineness of touching, Fingerspitzengefühl, sagen wir auf Deutsch. Needs to have a little, you need to be very sensitive towards it, whereas being conservative and where you're going liberal, and to still bring the message along, but to adapt it towards the persons receiving it. And we might always want to have the guidance of elders. If we are insecure ourselves, is this going over the border? Are we losing the message? What I should do? Or maybe we're going so far off to bring the people in. Sometimes I see this with yoga, some devotees do yoga, and then they want to bring devotees towards yoga, but in the end, it has become the other way around. The people from the yoga have brought him towards yoga, but he hasn't brought anybody towards Krishna. Yeah. So we must see that also our ways become effective. And Prabhupada was the best example of doing both. He kept the message powerful and intact, because, if you read Prabhupada's books, they're so powerful. Every sentence, purport is, it's purifying. I must say, it's purifying. It's always like, wow, powerful. Even if you read other acharyas, it's so powerful, but it's still presented in such a way that, normal Westerners like us would become devotees, which nobody else did. And they tried, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's other disciple, they tried Bon Maharaj and others, and they were jealous because they were so learned, very intelligent people, but they couldn't do it because they didn't have the Shakti, didn't have this feeling and the empowerment of Krishna, for sure. Prabhupada was empowered, and he was liberal and sweet enough. He had enough depth in Krishna consciousness to lead others. That's another thing. I think one can be liberal if oneself has depth. You can go a little bit like, okay, lead towards them. But if your anchor is deep, but if you yourself are not deep and then you try to be liberal, then you will be blown away by trying to get others.
But being liberal means also that when someone leads this society and makes things more liberal, means that I live under more liberal circumstances also, and I might not have this depth.
No, I don't think so. I think it's everybody who is even in a liberal temple, one could say, can still be very deep. It doesn't mean that they themselves, the bhajan is not deep. It's just maybe it's more difficult, or you're not so aware of it. For example, if we are sitting here and we are emphasizing Prabhupada's mission, book distribution, for us it's very clear. For somebody else who comes to a yoga lounge, he might have never heard of Sankirtan, book distribution. So for us it's pretty easy to stay in the line. But for others it might not be, and then for them some might take years to understand, okay, what is these brahmacharis doing? They're like going out with a car and distributing books and talking to people. Are they missionaries? Or are they cool people? And so they get their understanding.
Also, when I would lead some yoga lounge, then I would not be able to talk about Prabhupada all the time or something to the people coming, no?
And Devamrita Maharaj was one of the first one, or the most successful one. I don't know if he was the first one, but he's one of the most successful yoga lounge preachers, and he's from New Zealand, and they have lots of devotees. Everybody knows the Hare Krishnas there, and they have a nice combination. They're brahmacharis going out distributing books, and they also give them flyers, invitations for their yoga lounge. And so brahmacharis and book distributors are connected to the yoga lounge. So there's which is, I think, it's always complicated to see where's the ideal place for the brahmacharis. Should we be in the city temples distributing books and being stationed there, but then mayas all around? Or they should have a base like we have here in the farm, where you can always come back and be secure. You don't have all this ladies and crazy thing going around you. But it's both good to have. Like we have in Linz, it's, I think, good thing. You can come back here to the base, which is normal, not crazy. But then you have like reach out points like Linz, Graz, Munich. You can go there, but then you always can come back. So similar, also it's in New Zealand. They have the main farm, which is quite big, and then they have small city temples there, and then there's yoga lounges, which are pretty cool. I think we would need some in Germany. We don't have one. So some really attractive yoga lounge, which is connected and which is striving, and they have kind of a good balance of being liberal but still being conservative. And they're also strict about ladies, men, but still they're liberal, they're open. So one needs to see where is the perfect equilibrium. Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for. Oh, what is happening? It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your nice, wonderful class. I have two questions. This one thing is that because Srila Prabhupada was connected to Krishna directly, so he could be transcendental to all so-called, wie sagt man, contradictions, or liberal, or conservative, or hierarchic, or democratic, or whatever. So he could do whatever Krishna wanted to bring us to this Krishna Prem. So that should be the goal, that we should be really Krishna conscious, so that we can not be on one side, like I'm democrat, or I'm like this, or like this is a little bit like conditioning. You can say conditioning.
That's right. I mean, the main thing is that we need to go deep. They have the anchor, and then wherever we go, conservative, liberal, it is an external appearance. Yeah. That's also what I said. Like devotees, some devotees are, for example, very enthusiastic about Krishna West, and I think they're pure devotees. Not that they're not pure; they don't have a depth in Krishna consciousness. Hridayananda Goswami, I think he has lots of love for Prabhupada, for Krishna. I listened some weeks ago, one of his lectures was really cool, really nice. How it's like taking apart. He's so intelligent. He's like, if you want to hear good arguments against science atheism, there's atheism which is based on science. He's taking the arguments apart. Very nice and very systematic. Really cool. And so that's very nice. So he's very deep in himself, but he just has his bhajan, which he's like, okay, I want to be liberal. No, why should we wear dhotis? We want to everybody should be welcome, even in trousers and tie and suit. So this is his meditation. And then we have other people like Bhakti Vikas Maharaj who are very conservative, and they say, yes, no, we don't. I want to sit with dhoti and chadar. That's what Prabhupada wanted, and that's how he dressed. That's how we should dress. And then okay, that's his bhajan. But both are deep in their bhajan with Krishna, and this is the main thing. And then how it expresses, that's a secondary thing.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Wonderful very explanation nice again. This making this point very clear. So the other question was.
And also, if we have our own spiritual master, we should not try to put him or senior. That's a danger that we try to put. Like I said, some names now that we judge them and say like, oh, he's like this or he's like that, because they're pure Vaishnavas, or I don't know how pure they are, but they're pure. I mean, Prabhupada said whoever is in the shower, he's pure. So we should not judge them, because we don't know how advanced they are. So we should be very careful to judge anybody who's on this side or on that side, and we ourselves just need to develop our bhajan. Yeah.
Again, wonderful point. That we should not be too much judgmental, whatever. Yeah, putting ourselves higher. I know best, and these are wrong, and these are. Yeah. This is a little bit contaminated also. Yeah. So the other question was.
But there's still something which is right, which is Prabhupada, and again need to be conservative. So it's always must be for ourselves. If we understand something, some new ideas, we must understand what did Prabhupada say, what did he write, and it's for ourselves. It's good to be conservative ourselves. But we should not still judge and tell everybody, oh, you're not a Vaishnava, you're not a devotee, you're too crazy, you're dressed in tie suit, you cannot have love for Krishna.
I mean, I didn't say that one should not know for himself what is right or wrong. We need to know for ourselves, but we should not say that my idea is the only right idea, like that. So that's my opinion. Of course, somebody may think I'm the master of the whole world. Whatever I know is correct.
You didn't know?
Maybe he thinks like that. So anyway, but the other question is, according to this verse, that in some countries, for instance, in America, everybody's allowed to have a rifle. According to this rogues and thieves. So if you go to some farm and you enter without knowing, you may be shot like that. Yeah. What do you think about this idea regarding this verse? Or did you think about that?
I mean, in some ways, it was necessary in the U.S. because historically, the work was like the Wild West, and you needed to protect your property because there was no real law, there was no real police, and so everybody needed to have their own arms to protect themselves. And that's the history, and that's how it has kept until now. Everybody has their own arms. We don't in Germany have this because we are established, and everything was normal. Our cities and our Grundstücke, they're already like hundreds of years old, and it has been passed down through generations. There's no any more disputes about it, So we don't need to have rifles. It's just different culture. Yeah. Björn, and then bist du auch mal.
If I may make a small comment, I
Yeah.
remember that Bhaktitirtha Maharaj was asked by one of his disciples that how to combine that there are some gurus that are very liberal. I mean, you just mentioned even with names. It was very nice to have this to see both. And he said that these gurus are sent by Krishna to attract certain people with mindsets, and we can appreciate both, but not criticize, even though we might not be harmonize so much with them, but we can appreciate because they this group of people gets picked up by this guru, and they come. Krishna sends these gurus like that. You understand what I mean? I cannot formulate the sentence now so nicely.
Yeah, it's right. Like those who are liberal, they attract certain kind of devotees, and their gurus. It's nice. Sometimes they attract more a certain set of people, and the conservatives attract different set of people. But they're both amazing because then we have more devotees, and we have more opportunities to. And diversity. I mean, diversity is beautiful. For Krishna, we want to have different kinds of services, therefore we dress him every day different. So having different flavors of bhakti and of Krishna is very beautiful, I think. Yes, any other comments? Yeah. You and then Shamakunda.
Hi Krishna, thank you for the nice lecture and bringing up this very, what's the word? Controversial conversation. Like it's refreshing, not always listening to just it's this way. This is it's good, so you don't fall asleep. It's like I have an opinion. So I wanted to say I had the pleasure of being in association with all kinds of people you just described. I met devotees who were very dedicated in the first few years. They moved through Bhakti Shastri and did it in like 2 years, wore saffron, and then boom, they couldn't keep the standard. And they fell down and like, I'm just gonna be with kamis and to go to Goa festivals, but also to kirtans. And then there were others who I met. It took them like 17 years to get second initiation, and always wanted to be brahmanas. And it took them forever to understand. I'm actually not a brahmana. I'm just a kshatriya, and it's fine. Like I'm good at managing, and now they blossom. Or others who they really wanted to wear a shika. But it only grew like this far, and then we're like, no, it looks stupid. Everyone's looking at me. I'm gonna shave it off again, and then again, and again, and again.
Well, what's the question or comment?
It's more like a comment. And
okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
And but then also was in temples where they tried to fit everyone in, like the loose ones, the very strict ones, and the ones in the middle. And I noticed this. It is very nice, but also it's very hard for the very strict ones to not fall down into a Kanishta Adhikari thinking, like being like very criticizing, or to maybe lose their purity because you can't just not look at people. At some point, your eyesight catches someone, and then maybe something happens within you.
Yeah, so always be careful. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
No, it's the question. In the end, there is a question.
Yes.
Like, how would you say could we, balance all of these different personalities, have them all within us, without, putting obstacles into the way of those who really want to be strict and pure and like doing that.
Yeah, it's good point. Thank you very much. Shamakunda is next. Yes, I think as you said, if you try to put everybody in one pot and then to facilitate them, it's very difficult. And therefore, it's nice to have like a base where you're like here, a farm, where you're a little more conservative, and then you have preaching centers, which are more liberal in general. But for example, brahmacharis, for them to be all the time there, it's kind of intense, and also not ideal. So you always go back and forth, and you have facilities for everybody. And yeah, you try to protect the brahmacharis, so they don't need to preach to the ladies can preach to the ladies, easy. And you can have certain arrangements. But yeah, we just need to be aware of it, and as a leader ourselves, we can also be aware that if we ourselves are liberal, and we have, for example, the van, or as somebody in our temple who is more conservative, then we facilitate them and give them the protection. And also other way around, which is sometimes very difficult. It's if you're conservative and it's a liberal guy, and you think like, he's out of the box, he's complete nonsense. He should follow a normal line. Become a bhakta, wash the pots, and then go on Sankirtan, get first initiation, get second initiation, and then whatever. But not everybody fits in this box. Some are different, and they need to be facilitated. Their intellect, their understanding, their different way needs to be facilitated. If they're facilitated, then ISKCON can really grow. And if we're just thinking only in one box, my thing, then we cannot really grow. And that's very important, that we give them, we see the roads of different people, how they're running. Yeah, I think that's nice. Shamakunda.
Thank you, Prabhu, for this comparison between liberal and conservative. For me, this topic was really relieving. I remember that I was listening Namra's podcast, late morning program, where
it's a cool name, huh? Late morning program.
There is one episode with Mahatma Prabhu, and they discuss directly or like this topic, and yeah, I recommend this episode, and like for me personally, it was really eye-opening, because I was taught in the temple where I joined that only the conservative approach is the right one, and I like always tries to fit in these lines, but it was like very, very hard to me, like to be in the same time devotee and in the same time like
be yourself. Yeah, I think it's like, for example, you're artistic. Artists are different, and then you're just like, you like to have the hair a little different. You want to have a cool bagel bandi. You have a nice bagel bandi. Have a hat on. So there's some artistic expression. But if you're very hardcore conservative temple, then they look at you like you're completely Maya. But so everybody needs to be facilitated. And then in some areas where you can inspire so many others by your paintings, your drawings. So we must facilitate everybody. And as a leader, especially if we have a little responsibility over others, we must understand these needs and facilitate them. And then even if others see, like, it's not that because Shamakunda is wearing long hair, then also brahmacharis start wearing long hair. They understand, okay, he's an artist, he's not a book distributor, he doesn't need to be type B, he can also be type XY, So that's nice to be able to facilitate, as long as the principle stays there. And we can, as ourselves, we can unfold. For example, as a brahmachari, always had a nice everything saffron, and then once I became a grihasta, I could become a little more colorful, and that was really cool. I could live myself a little out, have different quotas, I tried long hair, I tried short hair. So it's just funny, but it's little things, but you can feel yourself, okay, I can express myself. And if it's completely cut off, like sometimes I had some senior devotees where I felt like I'm so cut off, I cannot express myself. I felt like in a tiny box, but I need to express myself. I had then my idea of going to universities, and that was my thing. And then also festivals, we started also festivals with Gour and Kripa Sindhu. So it was our thing, doing something new, something exciting. So trying the unknown, that was something which is very nice and which we have the possibility. And so we can see, okay, where can we innovate? Where can I live out myself as a brahmachari, because we're limited in our artistic expression as a brahmacharis. But we can do it in different ways. We have this preaching program, that preaching program. We do different kinds of preaching, which is kind of cool, Like Vedasara Das started the Community Sankirtan Festival, and then we do festivals in between, and then we do this in between, and then we go to India, and then we do this, and it's like cool, Krishna consciousness becomes full of flavor. But somebody else might be, I'm a book distributor. I do 360 days of the year, just stand on the same spot and distribute books. There's one Madhusudan brahmachari in in Prague, he's doing exactly that. It's amazing, all glories to them. It's really cool, you know, those who can do it. But some are just different, and everybody is, we must facilitate them. And those who want to do something different, it's cool. And some want to study, you know, want to study in universities and then become Krishna conscious experts. Like we have this, the Center of Hindu Studies in Oxford, which is mostly run by devotees. And also His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Maharaj is there. It's so amazing we have it. It's like a light in the intellectual world that Krishna consciousness is being represented by devotees, not by some karmis, because naturally there's in Hindu studies there's a bhakti section, and then there's the most expert in the bhakti section is then some Mayavadi nonsense. No, I think it is in Germany some professor, and she's not really too much happy towards Krishna, but then there are others, but then you can always say, okay, hey, but look at that, you know, we have the Hare Krishnas are one of the most educated and have this facility in Oxford, and they've written so many books and papers about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's you can prove so many things, and it's so many it's really cool that we have that. It's groundbreaking. Prabhupada would be so proud of it. You have a center of Hindu studies, and the devotees are mainly part of it. You know, they're running it. It's cool. So it's far out. So we need to have those kinds of people and devotees also, but also we need to have the book distributors who just go out and distribute books. And it's cool. It's nice to see this variety. Me personally, I always am inspired by this variety of devotion. I see people who are so can do something so creative, and also people who are so conservative and just go out. Brigupati, he's like 60 years old for book distributors. Let me see if I have internet connection. Let's see how many books he distributed this year. He's not 60. He was like 70 at least. Maybe even going towards 80s. WSNL. Home war das, oder? Sankirtan. You must listen to this, that's so amazing. Yeah. So, okay, the latest results are from 2021 on this website, but I go by worldwide. Cumulative individuals worldwide, and here, okay, there's the top from 2021. He distributed has 39,000 points, and books are not there, full sets, small books, but 40,000 points basically. It's Parameshwara, and he's 59. I mean, that's a cool thing if you go to India for a Gour Purnim, and there's the Mandal Parikram, and then you have association with all these different devotees who come from all over the world, and then you can talk with them. It's so cool, it's really nice. I also met him and his brahmachari gang. Yeah, everybody also they also do the Rab tour. There's a tour, a concert tour in US, and then everybody does like 200 or 300 books a day on this festival. It's a really cool festival, and they just go from one festival to the next. And he does like, to do 40,000, you must do, how much you must do every day? In a year. The whole year. If you do 40,000 points, how much you must do per day? More than 1,000 per day. Per day, 1,000 points. Is it? Yeah. I think. I mean, it's amazing. You can calculate. It's certainly more than 40,000 divided by 360. 65. 111. But every day, Sundays. 111, not 1,000, but 111. Yeah. So it's not like 360 days. It's powerful. I mean, it's doable. You can see in marathon you could do. Some of you could do 100, huh? But do it the whole year, and that's cool. It's possible, but he's doing it. But then we have Brigupati here. He's at third place with 18,000 points, and he's over 70 years old. And is almost every day going out and distributing books, and it's amazing. I wonder how is he doing it. So now you can click on Brigupati here, and it says how many books he distributed his whole life. Total books, what is recorded here until 2021? 500,000. Haribol, Brigupati Prabhu Ki Jai. That's so cool, isn't it? Having 500,000 there. And it's like every year, like 2019 was 30,000. And then 2014 it was 70,000. I think that was his highest score, 70,000. I mean, that's amazing. That's really next level, huh? So, and it's so nice to see that people can be on the side. You know, we have Krishna Kshetra Maharaj being in universities, and we have Prabhupada being on the airport, same spot every day, they're doing books, and they're all expressing their devotion towards Krishna in their own unique way. So we need to pass through this one little gate where we find our service, and we just dive into it. We go nuts for Krishna. Harinam Sankirtan Yajna Ki Jai. Haribol.